Good morning to you all. I am V. Sunita, lecturer in Computer Science Department, TSW RDCW Warangal East. Today I am going to discuss about static variables and methods in Java. How objects are created in Java. First class is created and then class is loaded, and any static variables are present, all those are loaded and initialized, and they are available for use from loading time onwards. And then constructor is called to instantiate non-static variables, and then onwards the variables are available for use. Okay. Hence these non-static variables cannot be used with the static methods. Static keyword. This static keyword which help us in memory management. So we can also use static keyword along with variables, methods, blocks and nested classes. So this static keyword help us to create global methods and variables which can be accessed without creating the objects of class. So we call such members as static members. So in order to create a static variable or method, we have to use the keyword static. This feature is useful when we want to create a variable that is common to all the instances of the class. So whenever we are creating the static variables, only one copy of the static variable is maintained inside. The static can be used with variables, methods, blocks and nested classes. Example for static. Here we are taking a student class consisting of roll number, name and college. So this college name is common to the all students. Okay, that is, this property can be shared among all the objects so that we can save the memory. So to make use of that property, that feature, so we have to make the variable static so that this variable is shared among all the objects. So here we have a constructor which initializes instance variables, roll number and name, and display function displays the values of instance variable, roll number, name and the college which is common to all objects. So when we create objects of this class, so we need to pass only parameters for this roll number and name, and the college property is common to all objects. So if you see the memory mapping, so inside the stack we have two objects S1 and S2. Both the instances will have different properties, different values for the instance variables, whereas the college property, which is common to all the objects, which is located into class area, and this is shared by both the objects. So here only one copy of this variable is created and shared among both the objects. And let us see an example to count the number of objects. So if we do same program without using static variable, we cannot achieve this. Let us see without static variable. Class counter int count equal to 0. This will get memory when instance is created. This count variable is instantiated for each object. Each object will have its own count variable, and the counter constructor in which counter is incremented and its value is printed here. And whenever object is created, each object will get a separate count variable. So when we call constructor, that value is incremented to 1 so that you will get the output as all ones. Now let us see with static variable. Class counter to static int count equal to 0. Here we will get only once. The memory is allocated only once for the entire class. And counter to constructor, inside count is incremented, count is printed. Here when we create the objects, the counter in constructor is invoked and counter value is incremented to 1 and it is printed. And when the object is created, so count is incremented to 2. The value is retained among the objects. And next, when the object 3 is created, again counter is incremented with 3 and it is displayed. So that is the static variable retains the value of the variable among the objects. Okay, the value is retained for the entire lifetime and it is accessible for all objects. Static methods. A static method belongs to the class and this can be invoked with the class reference without instantiating object. Static method can have access to only static data members and it is prefixed with the keyword static. Generally, the static methods help us to create the library of functions so that we can call the methods without creating the instance of the class. Example, let us take a student class with roll number, name and university, and let us define a change method which is a static method which changes the value of static variable university, and define the constructor for instance variables roll number and name and display the values of objects. So the difference you can observe here, the change method is invoked without creating object, so it is called with reference to the class name. So 3 objects are created, the values of 3 objects are displayed. So when we display the college university name here, the value is common to the all 3 objects as it is a static variable, and the static methods can be called without reference to the instance, so we can call them with class name reference. Another example, calculating the cube. So passing x as an argument and it calculates cube value and returns it. So we can observe here we are calling cube method without creating instance of calculate class and which displays the result. There are few restrictions on static methods. They can only call other static methods. They can have access to static data only, and we cannot refer to this and super inside the static method. And we can also have static blocks. This block is prefixed with a static. So these blocks are going to be invoked before main method is called. Thank you very much.